Welcome to the Running Chef, Easter edition.
Now I took the time to list the sequence I made these. First, the pineapple upside down cake. A half cup unsalted butter, 1 cup of light brown sugar, pineapple rings cut in half, 1 3/4 cups all-purpose flour, 1/3 cup almond flour, 3/4 teaspoon of baking powder, a half teaspoon of cornstarch, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1 3/4 cups of white sugar, 4 medium-sized eggs, and 3/4 cup of sour cream. And I also use some whipped cream for serving. Let's start with that golden pineapple. But first, I want to talk about the importance of laying all this stuff out, because you're going to have to get to this very quickly, some of these ingredients, so just make sure you can lay those out nice. For the pineapple, I basically cut the ends off and shaved down the sides. Then I cut rings. The rings are about 1/4 inch thick. Excluding the core, I cut the rings in half. I melted a half cup butter in a saucepan, let it simmer, then added 1 cup of light brown sugar. I pressed it down into the butter to make it a paste-like consistency. I sprayed a baking dish with Pam. Then I added the brown sugar mixture. Now I didn't have a 9x9 pan, so I used a 9-inch diameter. I carefully placed the slices of pineapple atop the brown sugar. In another bowl, 1 3/4 cups flour, followed by a 1/3 cup almond flour, 3/4 teaspoon baking powder, a half teaspoon of cornstarch, a half teaspoon of salt. Now let's add 8 tablespoons of melted butter into 1 3/4 cups of white sugar. Once that's beat pretty good, let's add 4 eggs, one at a time. After the first 2 eggs, let's beat the mixture to get it consistent. Now we'll add another 2 eggs. Beat it until it's nice and consistent. Let's mix our other bowl with the dry ingredients and have it ready. In the egg bowl, add 3/4 teaspoons of vanilla extract and then give it a good whisk. Now let's add half that flour combination and give it a good whisk. Then we'll add 3/4 cup of sour cream. Whisk that and then add the remainder of the flour combination. And then give that a good whisking as well. Now we'll pour that over the pineapples, bake in the oven for 70 minutes. Next, gratin potatoes. Let's start with 1 large red onion. We're going to slice this onion into onion rings, about 1/4 inch thick. Next, we're going to slice 4 or 5 Yukon potatoes. Now at this point, I'm going to check on my upside down pineapple cake, and after putting a toothpick in, I discovered it wasn't ready. So I add another 3.5 minutes to the timer. First, we're going to coat a baking dish with butter. Then we're going to line the baking dish with these sliced potatoes in single layers, with red onions on top. 4 layers total. In a saucepan, butter, then flour. Let's put in 2 cups of milk, 1 teaspoon of salt, and finally, back to the cake, it's done. It came out really good, a nice golden brown. To the milk, we're going to add 1.5 cups of cheddar cheese, sliced or grated, some salt and pepper on the potatoes, and stirring the milk and cheese into a nice consistency. Now we're going to carefully pour the cheese mixture over the potatoes, very slowly. Let's cover that dish with some aluminum foil. Then we're going to bake in the oven at 400 degrees for 90 minutes.
1 hour and 30 minutes, starting now.
Now let's separate the cake from the baking dish with a small knife. Put it on a butcher block and get ready to turn it upside down. Came out really good. Check it out. Looks delicious. Salt and pepper on each side. Cook 4 minutes each side. These don't need any sauce, but feel free to add if you'd like. Asparagus spears, baking sheet. Coat with olive oil, salt and pepper. Bake 12 to 15 minutes. That's all you need. Now the ham I bought was an applewood smoked ham, and it was supposed to cook in about 57 minutes. It wound up taking about 20-25 minutes longer, but it came out really good. Internal temperature was 130 when I took it out. I let it rest for 10 minutes and sliced it on a dish to serve. These old gratin potatoes were so good I forgot to get a picture initially, but here's how they turned out, nice and crispy. I did uncover them the last 10 minutes to get that crispy effect. And finally, the pineapple upside down cake with some whipped cream, served with a side of chocolate cake. For the wines, we start out with 2 nice rosés and switch to La Crema Chardonnay. Hope you enjoyed. We did. Once again, thanks for watching, and please subscribe.